Hello and welcome. You're watching the first interview in the Masters in the US series, and probably this is one of the biggest interviews I'm going to do. I say that because of two reasons. I'm at a place where the world started the tech revolution. The world has seen a transition in the tech world. Here is the place where Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Cisco came into existence. These people started these big companies right here in the Silicon Valley. I am here in Bay Area in California, and I am with one of my very old friends. We have known each other for the past 7 years, and I remember sharing the same stage with him multiple times. And we share a very informal relation, but for the purpose of the video, we're gonna try and act serious. So Rushikesh, what do you think about, can we talk and can we be serious?
What do you think? I'm not in a serious mood.
Okay, so he's in a serious mood. I am completely not, and I'm gonna fire him questions after questions. So talking about what we have done until now, it's basically we have completed our master's education. We have started working in corporate America. He's been working for a longer time than I am, and I came in the spring 17 semester. He was admitted into fall 16 semester, and we have a semester gap between us. We were at different locations, we were studying different courses, and today I'm going to talk about his journey because he's working with a tech giant. I'll not say it's a tech giant, but it's a manufacturing giant. It's one of the biggest companies in the world which is creating news each and every day. I'm talking about Tesla. So Rushikesh, what is your opinion about Tesla and how has your experience been?
So Mohit, frankly, I never thought that I would be working for such a big company. I remember back in 2015 when I was in Sinhagad. At that time, I saw a video for mega factories, and then I was fascinated by the space and the vision of the company that is accelerating world's transition to sustainable energy. I was quite amused. At that time, I didn't knew about Tesla, but when I came to US for masters, I see people talking about Tesla everywhere. When I scroll through LinkedIn, there's Tesla everywhere. Well, it's really challenging to work for Tesla, but at the same time, it's fun.
Wonderful. So challenging and fun, these are the two keywords here, and we are going to talk about Tesla. We're going to talk about Elon Musk. We're going to talk about his profile and his experiences in Tesla. Moving on, coming to the first question, you were in Pune and you come from the place called Aurangabad in Maharashtra. It's known for its rich culture and heritage, I believe. How has Aurangabad changed now? Whenever you go back, do you feel a difference in the city? Do you think it has changed a lot?
Well, it has changed a lot. I feel pretty positive about the development going in India. There's been a lot of changes in terms of infrastructure, in terms of industry, automotive industry in Aurangabad. There's like very huge giant automotive companies, Skoda and Audi. And I feel like India is on a right path. Even if we plan to go back, there's always opportunity everywhere. And in terms of Aurangabad, I miss my home, I miss my family, and of course, like motherland, right?
Yes.
Wherever you go, you need to keep in mind that where your roots are.
Absolutely, wonderful. So you miss your country, you miss your place, and that's what is coming out of this first initial questions. Before we move on to the actual part of the interview, we're going to have a quick tea break again, and we're going to resume the first section of the interview very shortly. Stay tuned and we'll be back. Once we are back after the tea break now, we are all set and ready to ask questions to Rushikesh about his experiences in the US and how did he come here and what was his experience in India before he made a decision to come to the US. So Rushikesh, I remember in 2014 when we, were in third year of engineering, and you decided to come to the US that time, and how was your decision made? What was it based on? Why did you think that doing a master's degree in the US was the right choice for you?
Well, I would say, Mohit, at that time we had like three options. Oh, not three, but multiple options of going to IES, giving CAT, GATE or GRE. Maybe I choose the most easiest one. Well, competition is a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many talented people in India, but the probability of you getting into an IIT, IIM is less. And in terms of GRE, there are very less applicants in comparison to CAT and GATE. So I think I choose the most easiest option.
In my personal experience, in the past 3 years, I have had a lot of students ask me about what after mechanical engineering. How did you decide your master's degree program? You also did mechanical, I did my mechanical engineering degree in bachelor's. why did you choose to go for manufacturing and mechanical systems integration?
That's right. It's kind of a difficult name to say.
It's a big name, so I had to literally read it. So, yes.
But thing is, so frankly speaking, I applied to 10 universities. Out of that, I applied for like 9 industrial courses. I only applied for manufacturing and RIT because I got connected with someone from COEP who was my senior at RIT, and I set up a phone call, and after that phone call was done, I was sure that I want to do this degree, because this degree is a combination, not only a manufacturing degree, but it's a combination of industrial, mechanical and business school courses. I literally studied cost management for technical organization, accounting, project management, manufacturing, industrial engineering. So being the reason, like I wanted to keep multiple avenues open, I choose this instead of just going straight to the mechanical or industrial.
Wonderful. I mean, so this degree you're talking about, it was not only specifically about manufacturing, but you learned a lot of other things also, which helped you, get a job or get an internship.
Exactly.
Wonderful. So how was this decision based on? When you said you applied to many universities, you got multiple admits, why did you choose going to Rochester Institute of Technology in New York? And why did you not go to the other admits?
So the other admits I had, RIT is the only university where I got 60% scholarship.
Okay.
So I thought, like, I didn't want to bug my parents a lot, ask for money, because like most of the time you have to like manage your own resources or take a loan, education loan. So that was a driving factor for this decision making, and at the same time, like the feedback was good from senior. Okay. So I would say in life, always have a senior or a idol to whom you can ask n number of questions and see where you connect with him. And if you feel a connection, I think you should follow the decision.
So if you were to make a decision about a university, will you rather read on internet about the reviews, or will you just call somebody you know or connect to somebody who is in the university?
Well, internet is a big place, right?
Yeah.
You can hear positive reviews when you go on Zomato, on a restaurant, you see 5-star, 4-star, there'll also be people about 1-star. So it's all about experience.
Okay.
And like hearing about those experience from different people. So I remember like I reached out to people on LinkedIn who were studying at RIT. I wanted to get a vivid view of maybe 10 to 15 different people. Out of them, not all of them replied, but there were at least 3 to 4 people who were open to talk to me.
Yeah.
So one thing which I've always followed is never ever fear to ask questions. So I just called them, and then it happened that we kind of connected, and that's how I made my decision to go to RIT.
Wonderful. And that's what I'm exactly doing. I'm not fearing from asking any questions, and I'm going to ask questions very openly. Now that you're done with your selection of the university, you're done with the paperwork process, you're getting ready to fly here. Take me through your experience. How comfortable were you going all the way across, 7 continents in the other part of the world? How was your family reacting to that change?
Well, I would say I was really excited. Any kid would be excited for his first international flight, and that to a 21 hour long journey. But unfortunately, I lost my grandmom couple of days before where I was supposed to fly. It was quite disturbing as I had to take a flight from Mumbai and then I had to do a long journey. But I would say when I reached US, I was kind of depressed because I saw very few people on the street, not many familiar places. But when I went to my university, it was kind of an emotional moment for me because this is a decision which I made. So I have to stick to it and make sure I fight against it and get the right thing done. So that was my feeling at that time.
Okay. So getting adjusted was a big change, and knowing new people, making new friendship was also definitely a challenge, because it's very difficult to meet people here. You don't see people all around you. You're all by yourself. You have to learn each and everything.
Exactly.
So definitely, and that was a challenge for you. I'm pretty sure that was a challenge for me. So wonderful. We are done with the first section of this interview, and I think we pretty much covered the questions which talk about his experiences in India before the US. Now, because we're going to talk more about the job strategies and internship finding strategies, we're going to quickly move to the second section. We're going to take a quick 2 minutes break, and we're going to be back. Welcome to the second section of this interview, and now this is going to be all about Rushikesh experience in the US. By the way, it's very difficult to say your name with the apostrophe S, I can't really say that.
You know what? I just go by Rushi. I mean, I don't even try here
Definitely.
to introduce myself as Rushikesh Mane. I think I've accepted the fact that I'm just Rushi Mane. Rushi Mane, like Gucci Mane.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
it's embarrassing, but I just go by Rushi. It's easy to
Absolutely.
explain.
And, we have all versions of our names in the US. But, anyways, coming back to the point, this is going to be his journey in the US about how did he select his courses when he landed up here. How did he go through his master's degree? How did he do his projects? And what was his strategy to look for an internship? So, Rushi, when you came here for, I guess that was August 2016, and you started your master's degree program, how initially did you select the courses out of the list of options you had?
So, of course, like when you come to US, you do a master's, but you have to do a concentration. So my strategy was to complete all my concentration courses first, because I think completing your concentration helps you streamline your profile into one bucket and then maybe start applying to that position. So I did my concentration in product design, product development. So I basically chose all the 3 courses which were part of my concentration because I wanted to learn those specific courses so that I can apply to that type of internship positions.
Okay, wonderful. So, and similar question to that, I mean, did it really matter in the future when you look back now and you think, oh, did I take the right decision about selecting this course or that course? Did it really matter when it came to finding an internship or a full-time, and how important were those selections of courses?
It does, because everything is like a waterfall diagram.
Okay.
So if you take your first step correct, I think it sets up the tone, it sets up the tempo. So it's really I would say important that you make a wise decision in selecting your courses, because I know some of my friends who selected courses because they were easy and just wanted to get it done and get a good GPA. But hey, you're paying like n number of money, you're paying in lakhs. So study something which you have never learned before and try to learn, and I mean, to the best possible thing.
Absolutely, definitely. And moving on to the part where you actually try to settle down here and try to cover your expenses for rent and all the other expenses, finding a part-time job, how easy was it? Where did you do a part-time job, and for how long you did it, and was it really possible to manage that time for your academics?
Finding a part-time job wasn't that difficult, but by both रोटियां बेली है. मतलब I started my on-campus job in dining services.
Okay.
And I remember the first day the supervisor put me onto a dish line, and I was like washing dishes all 3 hours long. And I was like, shit, why did I come to US? Why did I selected to do my master's degree? But towards the end of the shift, when I stepped out from dish line, I got free food. I got my first lunch.
Okay.
And I didn't have to pay for it. I'm like, this is it. You work hard, you get the money, and then
you get the reward. Yeah. So US की शुरुआत बर्तन धोने से हुई थी basically.
Yeah.
So very nice. I mean, and you shouldn't be really ashamed of doing anything, because everybody is so everybody is so okay with what you're doing. Nobody has an opinion. Nobody judges you, and nobody looks at you in that way, even though you are a master's degree student. So wonderful. Moving on to the point where you're done with your first semester, you go on to the second semester, and now you start thinking about, I have 5 months left until I can do an internship. What was your strategy in your second semester when you actually started preparing for making a good resume, making a good cover letter, and finding an internship? How was that phase?
I actually started looking for internships quite early, because once you are into US, you realize that how much money you're spending. So your mind becomes focused that, hey, I want internship. I want to do internship in summer. So I started in the first semester, but in terms of preparing, a lot of students might not know, but universities over here have a cooperative offices. Like they help you to design your resume, to filter your resume, and make the most out of it. I mean, I had a 2-page CV initially. I walked into a room with a counselor with a 2-page resume, and she asked, are you a PhD student? I'm like, no. It's like, why do you have 2 pages of resume? So, I mean, we had to cut it short, less number of words, more white spaces, some facts into it. So it was a good learning experience, because here your resume gets reviewed by really experienced people who have served into industry as well as academia. So I feel blessed that some of the universities in US have those kind of services, and especially RIT. RIT has a rich history. So that was I would say that was a point where my resume got filtered, and got designed to perfection. And after that, it was all about applications.
Wonderful. Yeah. So, altering your resume according to what the job expectations are, how were your achievements in, whatever you have done until now, putting them all together in a one-page format is really important. About your 2 semesters in the US, I remember personally that for me, having networking and communication skills and contacting my seniors and professors was really important. It helped me a lot in gaining exposure and in gaining opportunities. Of you, I have a memory. I know that you were very good at networking skills. You were very good at communication. How did those skills come to you? Did you work on them, or did it actually, just naturally?
It just happened to me, like when I was in Siagat. Like Siagat is like a huge college. You have so many students.
Yeah.
And then it's just about getting right opportunities at the right time. And as you start getting opportunities, I was quite lucky that I was a part of Team Style on Motorsport. I participated in Siagat Student Council. I participated in a lot of activities, and especially I've done so many shows, so much anchoring with you. That's how we gain confidence, right? So after coming to US, it was like just walking on a piece of a cake. It wasn't that too difficult, but language was still barrier, but we had to brush up the skills. And of course, like here in US, it's kind of different. Here people love to have short talks, but you start developing. I mean, keep your ears open. When you hear people talking about different stuff, learn about it, start practicing about it, start talking, and then you'll just make friends on your journey.
Wonderful. Talking about all of this, now I think we can add up all these points and come to a point where you were actually applying for internships towards the beginning of the second semester. How was that experience? What was your biggest challenge? Was it constructing a good resume? Was it applying for a lot of number of jobs and getting rejected from most of them? How was that struggle like?
So as I explained before, that getting your resume structured was really important. After that, my school, Rochester Institute of Technology, where I come from, is known for its co-op program, like internship and co-op programs. So every semester there are like career fairs. There are more than 250 companies all around the US visit RIT, and they look for like full-time students or aspiring internship or co-op students. So I remember I got my first internship through career fair. So career fair is all about like standing in big lines. There'll be like 200 students in front of you.
I really wanted you to talk about career fairs, because for me, people are like, they go to career fairs, they give out resumes, they talk to recruiters, nothing happens. They come back home and they are like, career fairs are of no use. How was the career fair experience good for you, and how did you make the optimized use of that opportunity?
So just imagine that 200 students are visiting you, and you're going through resume, you're going through what they're saying. You have to be something different than the next person standing in the line. So there's a thing called as elevator speech. Of course, many of you might have heard that, but you have to prepare, you have to present yourself in such a way that the person standing next to you remembers you when he goes to bed at that night. So, and that's all about preparation, practice, preparation, practice. So you get better at it, and then once you stand outstanding from rest of the mob, I think that's when you can catch the attention of the recruiter or the hiring manager. And once you start getting into a dialogue, and once you start telling about your life journey and how interested you are into that company, that's how the internship falls into a place.
So, Rushi, you said that you received an internship offer from Momentive through a job fair. Momentive, which is a General Electric company, and your position was continuous improvement intern. So, how was that experience like, and how did you make use of that experience to go into Tesla?
My first internship was very special because that was the first time where I started working in United States in corporate. And I was in headquarters, and I was reporting to director of continuous improvement. It was a really great learning experience. I would say they were so patient in terms of teaching right tools and like giving us lectures every Wednesday. We used to have like weekly lunch and learn sessions. I just like this concept of internships in US. I mean, you get paid, you get to learn a lot. At the same time, you get an opportunity to prove out yourself. So yeah, first internship is really special to me.
And how was that experience useful for you to get into Tesla?
I would say my first internship was a stepping stone for me, because the kind of projects I worked at Momentive in manufacturing domain, that's what exactly Tesla wanted. So when I went out there, I looked at different opportunities, different internship positions available at Tesla. Linking your experience with the job requirement is not an easy task. If you go out random on application by using the same resume, you're not going to get your internship. So I would say I was kind of lucky that I was able to find the right position, like a perfect match, and I knew it when I applied that I'm going to receive an interview call from recruiter.
Wonderful.
So the project which I did at Momentive, that was kind of experience needed, because at that time Model 3 was ramping up and they wanted a manufacturing intern who has worked on overall equipment effectiveness.
Okay, wow, okay. Big terms and lot of technical terms there. Now that you have mentioned about your internship at Tesla, moving forward, how was the first internship at Tesla and how were those first initial months in a company which is so rapidly expanding, and in a company where you have people from Harvard, Stanford and so big Ivy colleges? How did you feel there working with them?
Initially, I was very happy that I'm moving out of upstate New York to California, because I moved in December and it was snowing crazily back in Rochester. But whereas in California is like a blessed state. It has the best weather 365 days in the entire United States. So when I came down to California, I remember my first day, I was little nervous because I did not realize that Tesla is such a huge company and I'm going to intern at it. There was a lot of burden on my shoulders that how I'm going to convert this opportunity into full time. But my mentor, Aditya, he was so nice to me. Like he helped me a lot in my initial days, making right connections, giving me right projects, which helped me like prove out myself. So I would say at Tesla, there's so many people, there's so many opportunities, so many brilliance around you. You just have to make use of right things at the right time.
Correct. Were you scared about having people from Stanford, Harvard, MIT with you? Because Tesla has a lot of brilliant people. They have the most, effective people. They try to hire all the genius minds in the market. Was it really tough for you to adjust?
I was quite clear in my mind. My manager said to me first day that, hey, you know what? We are here to learn. So if you make any mistake, don't worry about it, but try to improvise. So when I went into a room with people from Ivy Leagues, I admit that I was dumbest of all. But then the ball is in my court about how I listen to them, how I improvise from that point. So one thing which really helped me was listening, asking questions, chasing right problems, and providing results to my manager.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what it really matters when you are given a task, how effectively you complete it and present it to your supervisors. So great. I mean, we have reached a point in the interview where we are talking about internships, and now will be the time when we end this section and move on to the actual full-time job finding strategies. How was his experience and how did he get into Tesla as a full-time engineer? So moving back about all the sections we have covered, it's been great. We'll see you in a minute. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back very soon. Thank you. So welcome back to the final section of this interview. It's about the full-time jobs and the way Rushikesh got into Tesla as a full-time engineer. Before we move on into this section, मुझे ये पूछना है, the world talks about Elon Musk and everybody is so excited about this guy. He's working on SpaceX, he's working on sending people to Mars, he has some huge crazy projects. How's your experience been with Elon Musk? Did you really get a chance to meet him or see him in person, and how is he like when he's inside the factory?
He's supernatural. He's genius. Like, I see him in the factory. When I was an intern, we were going through production hell, and then he promised a lot of stuff in the market, and everyone was saying that I don't think Tesla is going to get powered. But he took the charge and he showed the results to the entire world. I mean, he's a genius person. He has so much creative into it. He's so innovative. The way he solves the problem, the way he manages the operation is really fantastic. And I feel that I'm blessed that I was able to see it really closely. And being an intern, I would say that's the best thing happened to me in my life. Like, I got to see the CEO of the company working for the same cause for which I got hired.
Yeah,
I was supporting Model 3 production, and it's just a great learning experience for me.
Adding to that point, I want to tell everybody that just today I took a tour of the Tesla factory in Fremont, and I think, I don't know how many football stadiums you can put in, how many cricket stadiums you can put in that size, but it's one of the biggest structures on this planet. You know, it's such a huge company. I'm sure there was a documentary on mega factories about Tesla. So how was your transition now from a intern into Tesla? Did you have to apply to new jobs, or was a full-time role ready for you in Tesla?
I think it's about the right time, right opportunity, and right mindset. The day I stepped into my internship, the goals were clear to me. Manager told me what I need to get done, and if I get it done, he'll consider me for the full time. So once the goals are clear, the ball is in your court of how you tackle the curveballs and how you make sure that you land full time into that company. Of course, it wasn't an easy experience. Tesla was going through a lot of challenging phase at the time, and I had to work like 12 hours, 13 hours, 16 hours in a row to make sure that whatever input I'm providing is helping Tesla. And during that time, I think my manager saw that I have that passion for the company. I would say Tesla only hires passionate people. If you're not passionate about the cause, if you're not passionate about sustainable energy, I don't think you're the right choice.
Yeah.
But if you have the passion, if you lack technical skills, I still feel that Tesla will consider for you. Because if you have passion, you have passion to learn. You have drive in yourself, and you will definitely succeed. So
Wonderful.
keeping those ideologies in my mind, I worked really hard during my internship because I knew that this is the first and last opportunity for me to step into a big giant company like this. Like, especially coming to United States directly after my graduation, I wouldn't even dream of like getting a job into such a big company. I mean, it just happened. It happened because I was there, right opportunity, right time, right mindset. That's it.
And everything turned in your favor at that time, and you ended up in this opportunity. So, I mean, if you are not an intern in Tesla, a person from the outside, if he has a real passion for working in this company, is it really difficult for him to get in through direct full-time role, or has to be through an internship?
No, I would say both options are open. I mean, a lot of interns do convert into full-time depending on how they do in their internship. But Tesla does hire like a lot of outsiders who think out of the box. So I would say it's a combination, but Tesla definitely supports youth. I mean, majority of the engineers working at Tesla are in their 30s, 40s. But I would say the amount of diversity you have in the company, and it's just amazing to see that how the Tesla functions as a one big family.
Okay, very true. Moving on to the part where you tell your, best guess of how should a candidate proceed in finding a full-time opportunity, not only in Tesla, but in any other company. What has to be the checklist to get into a perfect position where you are considered potentially by all of the companies you apply to?
Right, I would say, as I mentioned before in the interview, it's about the quality of the application, right? If you have one single resume, if you're applying to 1,000 different positions, you're never going to find a full-time for you. So every single application you make has to be customized. You need to write a cover letter, you need to make modifications to your resume, you need to make sure that you put right words in there so as to attract the recruiter. And once you submit the resume, then when the recruiter reviews your resume, you have to make sure that your resume stands out of thousands or lakhs of people who have applied for that position.
Yes, and very true. And adding to that point, I believe being honest on a resume is really important, because you don't want to say fake things, you don't want to say false things, but you want to say what you have done in a more creative way. That's what it is.
Absolutely. So one thing is making sure your resume is right, making sure it's customized, making sure it's different. After that, in interview process, you just have to be honest. If you're honest, if you show the passion, if you have the drive, if the hiring manager sees that you have the capability to learn and succeed, they will definitely hire you. Not only Tesla, but any other company. You just have to get over that fear, that nervousness, and prove out yourself.
Moving on to the final section of this interview, and we are not going to take a break here. It's in continuation with this. I hope we have covered most of the questions from the full-time jobs or strategies perspective and his experiences in Tesla as a full-time engineer. Now we're moving to a part where you actually talk about your personal experiences here in the US while your stay has been about 3 years now.
Yeah.
More than 3 years, I would say. And how is it looking for you? What do you think you have achieved in these 3 years, and what do you think you miss the most?
I think I've learned more number of things than what I've achieved, and I think your graph should always be
growing.
If you learn, you'll achieve something. Sorry, can you repeat that question again?
Okay, so the main idea about this question was, in the past 3 years, what did you think were your greatest learnings, and what did you think you achieved, and what are the things which you miss?
I would say being humble.
Okay.
I mean, people are judging you day and night over here, so you need to be humble, you need to be on your toes, you need to give respect to everyone. At the same time, you need to be honest to yourself that, hey, am I doing it right? I mean, we have put so much of money into our master's education. If you're fooling around yourself, you're never going to succeed. So you need to be honest with yourself, you need to do the hard work, you need to go through the recruitment process, you need to study hard, get the right GPA.
So I want to bring and pull this interview to a part where we talk to the students directly, where a lot of students who do not come from a very high earning families and have a passion about studying in the US or in any other country, how should they be mentally prepared to sponsor their education? How do you think they will be capable enough to get over this barrier of thinking about money, and should they really think about studying abroad?
So I would say, going back to the point where you make decision of what university you choose for you, there are n number of options you have. There are really expensive universities, there are really cheap universities, there are universities where you get scholarship. So I would say that's where the funding or tuition fees comes into play, that you need to make the right choice. I mean, always choosing the right course or choosing the Ivy League college doesn't make sense. There are different options to fund your education. Of course, you can get a loan from a bank in India, or there are other options as well. But as long as you know that you're doing the right thing, and if you have made the decision, then I would say you'll have to, by hook or crook, you'll have to make sure that you make right use of that money which your parents have invested, or the education loan which you have taken, because one day you'll have to repay everything back.
Yes, very true. Talking about the point where you actually think whether you should come to the US or not, do you think, looking at India, it's doing great? There are so positive news coming from the Indian corporate world, and there are so many companies who are ready to hire engineers, and there are plus and minus points everywhere, I understand, even in the US and India. Do you think, considering the current scenario of the job market in India, do engineers really have to consider studying abroad? Can they achieve similar things? Can they reach in good positions by not going abroad?
I would say it's a personal choice. Definitely, some of my friends back in India, they're doing really great. But if you see, there are some advantages of coming to US. First of all, the competition pool is less in compared to India. Second thing, there are more opportunities, more job openings in comparison to India, at least in tech, IT world here in US. Third, diversity and respect. I mean, even being part of a different race, coming to a different continent, you still get treated really nice by the people.
Yeah.
So that is one point. Other thing is lifestyle. Lifestyle is a big thing. I mean, here in the United States, there are labor laws which make sure that you get paid really well, and you have paid internships. Come on, who pays for interns in India?
Oh yeah.
Well, I would say I'm not discriminating about that. That's how the situation in India is, because there's so much competition.
Yeah.
So coming back to the very first answer we started with this interview, it's all about competition.
Oh, yeah.
And if you want to have a settled life, a better lifestyle, a better earning job, then I would say I would encourage other students or other engineers in India to think about this option to pursue masters. A lot of people think that it costs a lot, but I would say it doesn't cost that much. If you plan it out well, if you plan your funds well, if you do an on-campus job, I mean, it's not that difficult, because you can earn enough in your on-campus job that you can pay your monthly rent and you can survive. I mean, you can pay for your own food.
Oh yeah.
So you just have to manage the tuition fees in India, and there are n number of options available. There are different universities. So I would definitely encourage people to select this path of coming to US, because he's here, I'm here, we both are sitting here, and like starting from our engineering days, I remember the first day to coming to this day where we are wearing a suit, talking confidently in front of camera, and we have time to do this.
A lot of
it means a lot of things have changed.
Yes,
So definitely whosoever is interested in pursuing United States, I wish them all the best. And of course, you have any questions, you have two great mentors over here. We are always there to help you.
Definitely, I'll try to be a good mentor. And well, I mean, I think we have covered pretty much about what we have done and how our experiences have been in the US. I hope you have enjoyed this video as much as we have enjoyed it shooting it. So at the end part, I would just kind of summarize it saying that make sure you have this video as a guideline, but you also have your own research while selecting your university and really making a choice whether you really want to come or not. By staying in India, you know, you can make great for yourself. You can be a great manager,
be a great CEO, and then hire two idiot engineers.
or you can hire us. Yes, but you know, putting the fun part aside, I think there are always plus and minus points in every place you study, every place you go. You have to make sure what you want in life, and you have to be very sure about your decision. So at the end, Rushikesh, I am really thankful we did this, and I hope this serves the purpose. If you're really watching this video towards the very end, that's all we have, and you can always be in touch with us. You can always contact us through LinkedIn, and probably that's a very professional way to get in touch with us, but I think it's good to be professional. So good luck, and thank you so much for watching this video. The next video comes out very soon, so make sure you subscribe so that you know when the second video comes out. So Rushikesh, thank you so much for
making
Mohit, this happen,
for inviting me on this interview.
Thank you.
It's really good to connect with you after so long, and sharing the coffee table while sipping some tea. I mean,
absolutely, a coffee and tea, always a big debate. So thank you so much, and that's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you.